10 YouTube strategies to help you grow your marketing agency. To provide a little bit of context, we have posted videos like this, and this at Hex Studio, our YouTube marketing agency. Over the past 4 years, worked with 40 plus businesses to help them generate more leads, clients, and views and subscribers from YouTube specifically. So from all of this time, all of this data is that all of these suggestions that I'll be providing to you today are coming from. Having said that, let's not waste any more time. The first one is actually content buckets. Extremely important, and this will be valuable, so hear me out. When you're starting a YouTube channel as a marketing agency, usually what you would like to do is to build a library of content. So start to post a lot of videos. And a specific strategy that we have done for certain clients in the past is to do sprints, meaning perhaps in the first month or 1 month after just they recently started their channel, we are going to be posting every single day or very high type of frequency for 2 reasons. One, build the actual library of content of the client. Second, because these sprints are just more data for us to take reference on, and for another reason that is connected to the second strategy that I'll mention in the beginning. So we'll get back to that in a second. But basically what we are trying to do here is that with all of this data, we are going to actually be able to identify what are the content formats, the style, the packaging, the ideas, and what is going to be working for your specific niche, your specific agency, and in relationship with your specific audience. So all of this is just data. We can't draw a line if we don't have enough data points to draw that line. So we need to post the videos, compile that data, and based on that actually start to refine the process. But it starts with the posting volume. Of course, do you want to do it in an unprofessional way? Of course not. And if you have the proper guidance, or if you have someone in your team, you're working with an agency to guide you through this process, even better. But focusing a lot more on the volume at the beginning can actually be a really great strategy, as I have tested myself and with some clients, despite what other people may say. And coming back to this specifically, when you post all of these videos, you will identify patterns. You'll see what kind of videos were the ones that got the best results. You're going to see the patterns. Perhaps were they about a similar subject? Did they have a similar thumbnail design? What about the video editing style? What about the hook of each of those videos? What it seems to be the specific audience for that video, because you can read the comments and kind of get a sense of who is the type of people that those videos is actually reaching to. And from all of that data, all of those patterns, you'll identify usually anywhere between 2 to 4 type of content buckets that work the best for your channel, your niche, and your audience. It's a whole ecosystem. Those things do not work on a vacuum. So having that in mind, that's when the actual tip at the beginning starts to play out. You can double down on what is working, but that what's working is within the context on your specific channel and your specific situation as a marketing agency, right? So again, is post a lot of content, compile the data, see the patterns on the data, and then double down. Post videos on the same topics that work. If they flop, all right, perhaps what worked on the other videos wasn't necessarily the topic. Was it the packaging? Was it the video editing? Those are the kind of things that you need to ask yourself and figure out with your team. So the second YouTube strategy, it's going to be even more important, and it's actually related or interconnected with the first one we just discussed. So the second one is that small niches require more posting volume. Let me explain. This is how I have personally seen that YouTube works. I'm not claiming that I know exactly the algorithm, but just based on our experience over the past 4 years working with 40 plus businesses, this is what we have seen. When we are on a very small niche where the total addressable market is very limited, it's usually best for us to start to post a lot of content, especially at the beginning of the channel. The algorithm doesn't really have any idea on who is your audience. They don't have any data. And YouTube, the way that I have seen that it works is that they will try to match the algorithm, your pieces of content, with the specific audience that it could have the most resonance, but they don't know at all who is that audience at the beginning. And if you are only posting 1 video every 2 weeks, 1 video every week, that is not going to be enough data for them to do that connection. And you ramping up the posting volume at the beginning gives you the possibility to test. All right, this is a video on whatever topic, on an email marketing tutorial, this is a video on a Google Ads tutorial, this is a video on whatever are the services of your marketing agency, and they start to test it with different audience pockets. And once YouTube actually finds who is the potentially more like your ICP, your ideal customer profile, or that target audience that you are trying to reach with your content, is going to be so much easier. It's like you actually start to get traction on your videos, your channel actually starts to grow, to generate more leads, to book more calls, to get more clients, but it starts for small niches with a lot of posting volume oftentimes. If your total addressable market perhaps is way bigger, all right, we can discuss other potential strategies, trying to cut through the noise with quality, etc., etc. But the second YouTube strategy is contextual for very small niches and what we have seen that works. Now the third one, very, very important as well, and I actually don't see this being discussed that much. So, is the following: niche down in high competition type of niches unless you can actually compete. There's this quote from Peter Thiel. He says that competition is for losers. And this is the practical version of that infamous quote. If you want to create content about business and you are perhaps not as philosophical, as intelligent as an Hormozi, or if you don't have the budget of Dan Martell or these other kind of guys, like if you don't really have the competitive advantage over the top guys and top players in the niche that you are trying to compete, probably the best chance that you actually have to eventually come to compete with these top guys is to niche down. And I feel that this is something that sometimes some channels or people or businesses who are coming into YouTube and starting to post don't really grasp and understand to the full extent. And it's that they think that they can come into a niche, start to post like different kind of videos, and they are going to get these millions of views and hundreds of leads and make millions of dollars out of simple videos that by objective measure have an enormous difference in the value that they are providing and the quality that they are made of in a way compared to the top guys in the industry. So that's the thing. YouTube is an attention marketplace. If we are in the attention economy, YouTube is the attention marketplace. And in a marketplace, only the best businesses, meaning the guys that provide the most value to the audience in all of the different forms that providing value means, are going to actually win. So again, for competing, if you don't have the competitive advantage of the intelligence or in the production value or in the big budget to spend or the best team or all of these things, the best chances that you and I and other people have in competing is starting by niching down, consolidating a thought leadership and niche authority first, and then expanding from that point. But going to the niche is a way to differentiate from all of the other competition and actually a way for you to get better results, more leads, more clients, resonate better with your specific target audience, more views, more subscribers within the context of your niche. So that's something very important to consider. The next YouTube strategy, very, very valuable in my opinion as well, is, and based on what we have seen, copy if you're niching down, but differentiate if you are trying to compete. So let's say that you told me, hey Juan, you know what? You kind of speak semi-eloquently, but at the same time, I want to compete. So here's what I will humbly suggest to you. If you really want to compete to the top guys in a given market and you really want to do it, you can't win at that game within YouTube producing like a secondary version of whatever it is that they are doing. For example, there are some cases at the moment, this video editing style of Dan Martell is very popular. So the graphics, the thumbnails, all of this stuff. And sometimes people inquire to like within our agency or to our team, like, hey, can we do Dan Martell style? We are trying to produce content about businesses and all of this. And we explain this to them that if they are trying to get to that point, they're not going to be able to do it within the context of YouTube, just doing a secondary version of what Dan Martell is already doing. If you want to compete, you need to differentiate. You need to bring in that novelty value. You need to bring that new things to the audience, those things that will shock them, those things that are, again, just unique and so different that draw in attention and steal attention from the top guys into yourself, into your business, into your YouTube channel. But if you don't decide to compete at that level, but perhaps you know that your main focus right now with your YouTube channel is to grow your agency, to get more clients, just to appeal to those 50 to 100 views and eyeballs in each video, but are super highly qualified type of prospects to work with you. If you want to niche down, you can possibly take reference, not necessarily copy, but take reference, a lot of reference and inspiration from what the top guys guys are doing, because those, of course, have proven to be winning formats that are working, formats that are resonating, either perhaps in the messaging, in the packaging, in the video editing style. So taking inspiration for your own content, if you have really niched down, that can work. But again, to compete, differentiate, if you're going to niche down, you can take inspiration. Next recommendation, and probably at this point you have seen, this is not like the regular do SEO, go to vidIQ and copy the videos that are working and outlier method and all of these things. I'm trying to really put into perspective for you as a founder of a marketing agency to really use these strategies to unlock that is what you want with YouTube, right? Just to use it as a better mechanism to actually market your agency. So anyway, on the next one, oh, this is a good one. This is a really good one, yeah. Is regarding the essence of a YouTube channel. I think that, let me do a controversial statement in a way. I think that likability is really underrated. So we have all heard about, yeah, you need to create content to be known, like, and trust, and that's fine. It works. It makes sense, yeah. At this point has become already like kind of a platitude, but whatever. But the likability aspect in particular, I will personally argue, based on what I've seen in these years of experience, that is one of the most important things. You don't necessarily need to be like the most charismatic person on camera, have this huge confidence and express yourself so well and be so eloquent, but you need to have like that factor of likability, that someone is watching your video and they tell you, or they feel like, hey, you know what? I really like this guy. I really like James. I really like Sean. I really like Mike. You know, like you need to have like that factor, that thing that people say, hey, I really resonate with this guy in a way, because that opens up the doors to a lot of other things. But that aspect of likability is just one part of the essence, and the essence goes beyond this, and it's extremely important for channels that actually get breakthrough type of results. How I will personally define essence, it's a matter of what makes you different, because in this era of artificial intelligence especially, you know that knowledge is a commodity. Everyone can get super specialized knowledge on whatever, deep research on ChatGPT, deep research on Gemini, and you get any kind of knowledge in seconds. You go to Google Scholar, whatever, you get knowledge in seconds. So what is your essence as a founder-led company, or if you're going to be founder that is creating the YouTube videos to market your law firm, or if you have a spokesperson, what is like that actual essence? Everything that you do needs to tie back to your story, either as a personal brand, so you as the founder, or the story of your brand. It needs to tie back to not only like the origin story, but particular stories. It needs to tie back of the personality of the person who is on the camera. It ties back as well with like what is your unique point of view, and with point of view I just mean like the filters under which you guys comprehend the world in a way, and what is your perspective specifically on things, perspectives but that perhaps explain a lot of the things that your target audience are looking to explain, and that are different from what is offered usually, right? So all of these things are really important. And actually, now that I'm talking about this to you, and listen, because this is going to make sense very like in a few seconds, is that these realizations haven't been really from just because I saw a video, I asked Claude or ChatGPT or whatever. I started posting YouTube videos back in 2013, probably posting just different kind of videos on things that I was interested at the time. I followed that journey for years, then stopped, then got back into YouTube, worked with some very reputable, well-known people in the business space, podcasts a lot from those guys, invested thousands and thousands of different coaching programs and consulting with some really good names, top names, and strategies in the industry. And all of those insights I've been able with my amazing team to implement it for clients, and that's where my perspective comes from. And that what I just did is exactly what you want to do as well. Perhaps in a more subtle way, I know, but adding like that storytelling, adding like that, who are you? Why should I care about your specific message beyond the same in a way message that is being said from like 100 different people as well, in 100 different platforms? So information plus personality, essence, unique point of view, and all of these things. Another thing, extremely important, another YouTube strategy, extremely important, is actually to build your moats. When we talk about moats and competitive advantage, we can think about different things, right? Back at what we were talking earlier, perhaps is the intelligence aspect. You're super bright guy, super smart, and you can explain things like no one else can. That's a competitive advantage. What about the production value? So we have examples as Mr. Beast that they spend millions in production value. Perhaps that's a competitive advantage. Perhaps we can also discuss things that are more interesting, right? And that are more tangible for founders like you and for founders like me, basically, yeah. And it's the following. What if in the era of information where all of the information is like accessible, if only you have a special kind of network or connection with a network where you can get the latest insights on, for example, scientific papers or on new research. This kind of information is in a way privileged information that is not available to the public, even in the era of information. So you having access by any chance on these kind of networks, this kind of information could be a competitive advantage for you. Will you do it? Will you need to tap into this network? Whatever, that's beyond the point. It's just to give you ideas on how you can get creative about this, how you can think about through this stuff to really find your competitive advantage. Another competitive advantage that I feel it's extremely underrated and that is huge is the community building aspect. If you build community, I will argue that that's even more of the true essence of a brand than anything else. Is the people, but not even the people within your company, it's the people outside, what they are talking, what they are saying, as they call it, the dark socials. Those things that you can really measure, you don't know that they are happening, like socially or people talking about your brand, but that they are in fact talking, right? So if you can shape perceptions in a positive way, do impact, and really build a community around your brand, your YouTube channel, that is the ultimate mode, that is the ultimate competitive advantage that transcends YouTube in itself and any other platform and becomes something more tangible, materializes in a way. Now, you can ask me, how can someone do that, Juan? All right, so there are multiple things. I have a study by interest in different situations like cult building in the general sense. And very briefly, like why cult building isn't that extreme, whatever. It's just like if you really want to study something, in my opinion, it's best to go to the extreme version of whatever is the thing, and you can just, it's easier to comprehend the whole after you actually study the extreme version. So in the cult building side of things, just position it as a community building aspect, because you're not going to turn off the critical thinking of your community or anything like that. But it's about how can you, for example, present yourself as a leader in a way in your niche, someone that has some kind of insider knowledge or that has different type of information or special power or special skill, a specialty that no one else has. The way that you position yourself with the way that you say these things, that gives an aspect of building a community. Position that like charismatic leader. Another aspect of a charismatic leader is actually the origin story. So where do you, as the founder of the brand, comes from? What are some of the other stories as well regarding your brand, as we were discussing earlier, that could connect and resonate with your audience, with your specific audience, with their core desires, with the struggles that they are facing at the moment? How can you position yourself like someone who in the past also dealt with those struggles but found a solution? So that's one aspect, right? Like the actual leader. Then we have the new opportunity. So it's like, what is the new opportunity that you're presenting to your audience? What is different about what you are saying from everybody else? In my case, what I'm saying is that YouTube is not a mechanism to get viral, to get a lot of views, to get famous, or none of that stuff that content creators are interested about. It's a mechanism for marketing agencies, not even businesses, specifically marketing agencies, to grow, to get more leads, get more clients, and in a cheaper, faster, better way, in a way that is more profitable for your business. That's in a way a new mechanism that I'm presenting, a new way to do things, a new opportunity. So that's what you want to find as well for yourself. Then we also have like the mission. Why are you doing what you are doing and all of these things? Anyway, we're kind of derailing a little bit. In this strategy, we were talking about like the actual competitive advantages, and we discussed specifically the community aspect, community building, cult building type of aspect that is going to be extremely important for your marketing agency, for your YouTube channel. And having said that, if you need help marketing your YouTube channel, just book a call with me directly. It's not going to be with a sales rep, with someone else. It's going to be with me directly. Let's talk. Let's discuss your channel, what you need. I'll be super transparent. We're only taking the right fit clients that we actually think that we can help. And this is not like a gimmicky kind of platitude that perhaps some other people say. Genuinely, we are in a stage where we really want to keep things lean and work with the best clients that we can serve the most. So if you think you could be that and you need actually help, just book a call with me directly. If not, please feel free to just watch all of your videos on my channel. They are free for you forever. So yeah, I mean, it's a pleasure to have you here. That's pretty much about it. Don't forget to subscribe, I guess. Bye-bye. See you on the next one.